Asia-Pacific stocks are widely higher today, getting a lift from improved sentiment and a stronger US dollar. But Chinese equities fell modestly on a 5% slide in metals futures, and Australia's benchmark turned lower as Commonwealth Bank of Australia faced a potential shareholder lawsuit in the wake of a government money laundering case. But after a week of straight declines, putting it at 4-month lows, Japan's Nikkei led Asian stocks higher. Meanwhile, a 1% gain for Samsung Electronics helped South Korea's Kospi rise 0.2%. Trading in Hong Kong was halted for at least the morning session as Typhoon Haichu neared the city with maximum sustained winds of 165 kilometers an hour. Now let's go to Australia now, where lawyers Maurice Blackburn and litigation funder IMF Bentham have announced a potential class action on behalf of Commonwealth Bank shareholders over a share price drop caused by allegations related to money laundering. They say CBA's 800,000 shareholders suffered significant losses after a landmark lawsuit was launched against the bank this month, alleging systemic violations of money laundering laws, which culminated in Australian federal police raid.
Litigation funder IMF Bentham and partner Maurice Blackburn lawyers are building support for a shareholder class action against Commonwealth Bank of Australia after a $7.9 billion support was wiped from the value of the country's biggest listed company in the fallout from money laundering charges. The CBA was accused of massive breaches of anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism laws by financial intelligence agency AUSTRAC on August the 3rd this year and is facing unspecified fines.
What we've looked at is the movement from the intraday high on the 3rd of August, when the AUSTRAC proceedings first became public, through to the opening on the 7th of August, so effectively 1.5 trading days. We've looked at that analysis because we think it's the appropriate period of time. And then, as I've indicated, I don't want to necessarily bore you with the maths, but as I've indicated, we've looked at whether that movement for this stock in this market was a statistically significant movement. And the evidence is that it was very significant. And so on the basis of that, we'll be alleging that shareholders are prima facie entitled to recover the drop in the price over that period.
Rattled investors wiped about $6.23 billion from the market value of Australia's #1 lender in the day and a half after the AUSTRAC case was made public. When asked why there ought to be a class action against CBA, given its share price has recovered slightly, Watson said shareholders still suffered losses.
Shareholders had a right to expect better from the board of a penny dreadful stock. That they were treated with such blatant and cavalier disregard by Australia's largest listed entity is simply gobsmacking. This proposed action will be a way in which shareholders can recover their losses and hold the company to account for its failures of corporate governance.
CBA has previously said it's preparing a defense against the AUSTRAC claims and that most of the allegations pertain to a coding error on its intelligence deposit machines. The bank's shares have fallen more than 5% since the Australian transaction reports. An analysis centre announced on 3rd of August it was suing Commonwealth Bank for 53,700 alleged breaches of money laundering and counter-terrorism financing laws. That 5% decline in value reduced CBA's market capitalization by billions of dollars. The Reserve Bank Governor, Philip Lowe, lashed out at CBA earlier this month, saying people needed to be held accountable if they had broken any laws. CBA is also facing a class action over its failure to properly disclose the risks to the business posed by climate change.
Now back here in Africa, Angolans head to the polls today in a parliamentary election expected to usher in the ruling party's defense minister as the first new leader of Africa's second biggest oil producer for 38 years. World Bank estimates show a third of the population still live on less than $2 a day. The Bloomberg Billionaires Index shows incumbent President Eduardo dos Santos' eldest daughter, Isabel, is Africa's richest woman with an estimated wealth of $2.3 billion. After expanding for 14 consecutive years, the economy posted zero growth in 2016, prompting tens of thousands of foreign workers to leave, while those who remained are grappling with inflation rate of 30% and a shortage of dollars needed to import products. Then the country slipped into recession last year, with the economy contracting 3.6%. In South Africa's headline consumer inflation slowed to 4.6% year-on-year in July from 5.1% in June. Data from Statistics South Africa show on a month-on-month basis, inflation inched up to 0.3% in July from 0.2% in June. Core inflation, which excludes the prices of food, non-alcoholic beverages, petrol and energy, was at 4.7% year-on-year in July from 4.8% in June, while on a month-on-month basis, the rate rose to 0.5% in July from 0.4% previously. Business Incorporated returns in a moment. Please stay with us.